Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order, Last Days of Europe, with me, Alpha Pi Omega, and the Empire of Japan. So in the last episode we ended with the war in Indonesia finally kicking off, and today we're gonna get involved. We are gonna get so involved that Indonesia is going to be ours. But first of all, we have to look at these little events that happened here and see what they bring to us. I think we can start with the Ikeda's aggressive play, which is the result of our previous national focus called holding the Diet hostage. When Hatoyama Ichiro walks into the Prime Minister's office, he knows right away that the time has come for them to go on the attack. It's hard to say what exactly makes him realize this. Maybe it's the sense of tension in the air, so thick that Hatoyama can practically feel it in his ancient bones. Maybe it's the gleam in Ikeda's eyes, signaling that his legendary fiery ire is about to be unleashed. Or maybe it's just that he knows that Ikeda thinks he's been playing cautiously for far too long. Whatever the reason, Hatoyama finds himself utterly unsurprised when Ikeda says, "It's time to discuss our next target." And good coffee. The veteran minister nods but replies, "We'll have to choose our play with care. You know as well as I do how precarious our position is. I understand your desire to permanently defeat your opposition, but if you damage your own supporters in such a maneuver, it could spell the end of your ministry." "Don't remind me," Ikeda mutters, face twisting into a frown. "A focus strike then. Not an attack against the whole faction, some sort of targeted scheme meant to diminish the influence of a few key figures. Take out the foundation and collapse the whole structure." Hatoyama raised an eyebrow. "Are you talking about securing your political position or assaulting a fortress?" "Very droll," Ikeda says, but his tone makes it clear that he has no time for dry wit. In any case, that answers the how. The next question is who. If we're directing our attention so narrowly, we'll have to make sure we're discrediting only the greatest threats to my ministry. "You seem to have already formed an opinion on who they are," Hatoyama observes. "Act fast or we're all dead." Well, the fun fact is that with this last step, we actually lost all of our majority votes, and we now have only 200 MPs voting for us, which is horrifying. I don't know how that happened, but it did. I guess the fact that we lost 10% relations, well, I mean, it is a big hit. So we'll need to rectify that. Right now we have a couple of things that we can do here. We can tamper with national renovationists, which would decrease power of the technocrats and support of IJA. We could get a strategic purchase, which would lower the faction's power of the independents, or we can go with backing by the old Zaibatsu, which could give us 75 political power and increase our faction power by 2.5%. Well, we're gonna go with backing by the old Zaibatsu because we will definitely need to invest in here. I guess improving relations here with us and probably the independents. I don't know who the second biggest faction is. It's the reformists. Okay, so with us and the reformists, that should guarantee us decent amount of votes. We'll see. Okay, so it's gonna be 60. How far are we with the... Okay, business tax is gonna come in 21 days. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So, backing by the old Zaibatsu. The Prime Minister's favorite partners in the old world of finance would have been the old Zaibatsu, also known as the Big Four, the Sumimoto, the Mitsubishi, Mitsui, and Yasuda Zaibatsu. Two of them traced their roots to the Edo period, and the youngest two were founded in the flourishing of the Meiji era. Of those four, Mitsubishi and Mitsui survived the economic upheaval through a merger. Okay, so there's only 3 of them, and this colossus has in turn absorbed the collapsed Yasuda group. Okay, so there's just 2. And Sumimoto has dissolved into loose and uncontrollable Keiretsu. Okay, so there's only 1. But we can still find some backing in the new Mitsubishi group and in some of the minor Zaibatsus that survived Yasuda's downfall. Okay, well, that's fun. Okay, minutes to midnight. This is about the war. Washington demands that something be done about the death of Americans in Indonesia at the hands of the Japanese military. The US ambassador to Japan was livid, his terse tone demanding answers that Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke was in no mood to provide. The death of your countrymen is a tragedy, but it is no secret that Indonesia is a war zone. Our forces operate in Indonesia at the invitation of the Indonesian government. I would advise your citizens to leave if they do not want to be caught in the crossfire. The 2 men faced each other silently, a storm of accusations and recriminations roaming between them. What else could be said? The Japanese military's presence in Indonesia was no secret. The Americans and Australian presence, likewise, was an open secret. And yet, neither could acknowledge the obvious truth this presented, that in the jungles, cities, and skies of Indonesia, American and Japanese troops were engaged in direct combat, killing each other in a war that neither government could officially acknowledge for fear of starting the apocalypse. Consider this a formal protest from my government to yours. The ambassador stood, shaking aside the hand of the aide, ushering him towards the door. And it will not be the last. Your complaints are noted, Ambassador, Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke said. I look forward to your next visit. Another lie upon the mountain of them. So what can we now do with Indonesia? Okay, let me see. Okay, so the war has broken out. Sukarno. Stuck in Jakarta, surrounded by loyalists and sycophants, for they are all he has left, and with the country at the mercy of the fires of war, such a situation is undoubtedly not what Sukarno would have wanted. But it is nonetheless the one he's in. One positive, however, is that the cruel conflict Indonesia found itself in allowed the president to discover where his erstwhile allies' loyalties really lied. Mohammed Hatta, whom he once considered a friend, proved himself to be nothing more than a puppet of various power-hungry generals. Whatever his reasons for that may be, however, it was too late to turn back. That cosmopolitan turncoat has finally shown his real colors, and his last days would be spent in a prison cell, never to see the heights to which the nation he betrayed would soar. At least that's the mantra the president plays to himself over and over again, to put the broken memories to sleep, if only for a moment. As the situation looks more dire than ever, however, many, even among the president's closest advisors, wonder if his wide-reaching ambition are still within grasp. Some will leave it to time to tell. Sukarno, however, knows that such pleasantries are meaningless, for only Indonesia shall recognize its leader. Okay, so we can send volunteers. 2 divisions. We want to send 3. Can we? So here's the Indonesian Civil War. Aerial and naval patrols. Expand small arms shipments. Expand artillery shipments. Expand Japanese military mission. Okay, we can send up or send over 1 more volunteer unit. Okay, we could send in another one with this one, but this one is more expensive, but okay, causes less discontent. So we need 4 more political power. Okay, let's wait for that. Let us wait for that, and then we shall see what we'll do. Okay, political power 18. Jesus, the fighting has really broke out everywhere. Okay, we do have enough power now, so let us expand the Japanese military mission. And that should allow us to send over 3 divisions. Yep. The first IJA expeditionary force, and let's send volunteers. Okay, 2 air wings as well. Amazing. Okay, so our bounties on transfer, they will get there on 3rd of November. Now we need to find where we have our closer support. Here's one. Here's another one. Okay. So you guys can go over here. Is there... I really do hope there's no enemy airwing here. No, doesn't seem like it. So now you guys are gonna go with Corsair support. Okay. Oh, look at the damage. We already lost one aircraft though to anti-air. That is brutal. But I feel like the damage we're doing is, yep, that is just amazing. 85. 53.7. 57, yep, we're bombing the hell out of them. Okay, so we finished the improved motorized equipment, which we can now put up for production and thus improve our units even further. So the basic motorized equipment is going to be switched out, and we're going to put more factories on you. Okay, we need 2 more. Can we take them from aircraft? Yes, we can. Oh, and we have a free slot because we just finished transports. A lot of things here that we can get. What about special forces? This one is ahead of time. This one isn't. Advanced Emotions Equipment. Due to the peculiarities of their deployment, Special Forces often forego the support of heavy weapons or tanks. To solve this issue, operators will be equipped with heavy-hitting explosive and superior grenades. So it's a breakthrough and a heart attack bonus, which is pretty good for us. A lot of options here for us. This is really brutal, the fight over there. I'm hoping that our aircraft are doing enough damage to push the enemy out. They should. They should. The Socialist Republic of Niger River declared war on the Zarma Republic. So that would be... Okay, here's Niger. Is that Niger River? Okay, Germany has defeated Nordverwaltung Muscovian. Justice is always violent to the party offending, for every man is innocent in his own eyes. Okay, well, good luck with that. These wars are truly unfair. 12 against triple their size. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? There's a lot of fighting over here. A lot of fighting over here. I think we're gonna push eastward. I'm gonna take Java and then the West Sunda Islands. Then we're gonna take this area and move to Sulawesi. Sounds about right. Okay, so take these mountains. News from Colombia. To the Office of Prime Minister. As predicted, tensions in Colombia have escalated to the point of open, if limited, skirmishes in the country's north. Despite the aid we have provided to them, New Granada's militias and mercenaries have been forced to turn back from the Atlántico department empty-handed. Between the rough terrain and heavy opposition from the enemy, their forces could not crack hostile defenses, and thus the port and the enemy supply lines shall remain out of reach for now. Huh? Oh, they was the Norman territory. Huh. Interesting. Because of this favor, we can expect our rivals to continue funneling aid to their pawns unmolested, with a more difficult challenge ahead of us. Although unfortunate, our supply lines to the New Granadan forces remain intact, and our leadership is still committed to victory over the opposition. Our advisors at home and on the ground still believe that success is well within reach, and recommend we escalate our support in preparation for ceasefire's end. 9 days. Okay, 13th of November. So take this area, we'll eliminate you. Then we're gonna eliminate you and move eastwards quickly. But they managed to stop us? Nope, they didn't. Which allows us to do this. Goodbye, my lovelies. So you're gonna take that and then go here, and you will directly go here. Yeah, the enemy forces are just bizarrely weakened. Offers from Rome. In recent months following Italian democratization, we have been approached by Italian envoys with overtures of friendship and cooperation. While we have enjoyed warm relations with the Italians ever since their break with the Nazis in the 50s, this latest development represents a golden opportunity to bring the Italian Empire firmly into our sphere. With control over the Suez, dominance over the Mediterranean, and a colonial empire that stretches from Tunis to the Horn, Italy would make a valuable addition to the co-prosperity sphere, turning the sphere into a truly global organization. Furthermore, the effects of gaining an ally right on the borders of the Reich cannot be overstated. Every available effort should be made to bring the Italians into the co-prosperity sphere, lest the opportunity slips from our grasp, or worse, falls into the hands of our enemies. Okay, so this fight has been finished rather quickly. Very unceremoniously with a whimper. We're gonna continue eastwards. Laguna del Desierto incident. Patagonia threatens to be engulfed by fire in the wake of the clash between Argentine Gendarmerie and Chilean Carabineros that resulted in the Chilean casualty and capture of the other Carabineros. The Carabineros, called to the Laguna del Desierto by a Chilean colonist who asked for aid after being notified to regularize under Argentine law, were met by a far larger gendarme forces and forced into a brief skirmish with them. Already a contentious issue, attempts to de-escalate the situation appears to have gone nowhere, as Chile has reportedly mobilized fighting brigades and called up reserves to head south to the disputed zone. With daggers drawn between the nations, this border conflict has come no closer to being resolved, yet it drifts further towards disaster. A war in Latin America. So we have taken the Silivangi Military Council and defeated it. The mountains of West Java remain silent, for Prabu Silivangi weeps from Parahyangan. Is that a jail? Who can say? The East Java Emergency Government has defeated the People's Democratic Republic armed forces. So, yeah, these guys defeated one of our allies. The torch of revolution has never been extinguished, maybe forever. The torch of revolution has been extinguished, maybe forever this time. Interesting. Aren't you guys the revolutionaries? A little bit weird, but okay. Well, our units have made good on their fight in... This would be Western Java? Yes, Western Java. And now we're moving towards East Java. through Sukarta. We're gonna defeat the opponents. These areas are ours. These guys, for some reason, are completely out of the fight. I don't understand how, but okay. And we're gonna move all the way here to Permesta Military Council and tear them to pieces. A Chinese request to the Japanese government. Following the success of the Pan-Asianist cause in the early parts of this decade, it is with this humble letter that we intend to request that the administration of that territory be handed to the Republic of China. At the face of it, we, the Chinese government, might seem brazen. It is, of course, undeniable that the Japanese government provided us with invaluable support, both moral and material. The people of China wish to, therefore, return the favor. The Republican government understands that its Japanese counterpart is currently reeling from financial troubles caused by an internal crisis. It is our good faith desire to assist Japan by taking over the administration of Xikang and Yunnan. We believe that it is the best outcome for both worlds. China regains a territory that has given it so much trouble, while saving the government of Japan from any expense which may incur it during the process of occupation. We hope to hear from you soon. Okay, so this is Xikang, and there is 24th Army, and here is Shinan. Give them what they ask for. They will receive modern equipment. Give them what they deserve. The Chinese will receive outdated and dysfunctional equipment. Reduces bonus to excavation efficiency. Huh? Desire to assist Japan taking over administration. Warlordism. This is not a member of any sphere. Shinan Administrative Office. Well, I mean, sure, give them what they ask for. Though I have no idea what this event means. I'm just hoping I didn't make a great mistake here. And how? De Jakarta. Huh. Okay, we'll ignore you and go all the way over here to finish off our enemies. 2 days to business tax cuts. So how are we doing right now? Okay, we're in the green. Year deficit 2 billion. And real GDP growth 0.946%, so almost a percent. And we're gonna up it by 0.45, so we're gonna get to about 1.25%. And we need to see how much the business tax is cut from 6.8 billion. It's just 25, okay. Ventilate well. If you heard the jets overhead in Indonesia, okay, that's a bit of a weird sentence. You dropped to the deck and held your breath. If you were lucky, you'd still be breathing air a minute later. If you weren't, then you were stuck with whatever you had in your lungs, as the oxygen in the air would combust or be displaced by styrene vapors. If you were lucky, you might pass out and die. Insensate. But heat, the roaring flames unleashed by napalm, igniting buildings and bone alike, would make that difficult. Anyone would want to scream as they felt their skin burst and blackened to expose the cooking flesh inside. But if they did, they might roast from the inside out, or choke on noxious fumes. No, all the residents of Sumatran village, militarily worthless until an arbitrary shift in the line of contact, could do was to hold their breath and run away from streets ablaze and scorched alleyways towards cooler and cleaner air in the wooded outskirts. They discovered as they streamed out of their hellish prison in a bloodied, mangled line that sufficient ventilation brought them relief. Ventilation, measured by bullet calibers and exit wounds. Jesus Christ, what have we done? Did we slaughter an innocent village? My God, that's just ugly. Okay, so we finished the emergency reform. Yep, the real GDP growth is now 1.4 billion. And the... Okay, so that's good. It wasn't... No, I mean, okay, it was lowered like this, from 25 to 23%. So the deficit increased a little bit by 0.4 billion, but we have much higher growth now. So the income tax, unfortunately, would be a much higher issue, because if we lower it by 1.5%, we lose... Jesus Christ. It would be at least $1 billion, if not more. No, actually it would be... Because, you know, there's the... Oh god, it would be nearly 2 billion. But it would help with the poverty rate. God damn. We are already here. Reports from Washington. While we have begun efforts to woo the Italians into our alliance, we have recently received information that the United States is doing much the same, hoping to bring the Italians into the OFN. This cannot be allowed to pass. Italian entry into the OFN would be a major boon to the Americans, granting them a foothold in Europe and heralding a massive victory to the so-called free world. Every available resource must be used to bring the Italians into the co-prosperity sphere, or at the very least to prevent the Americans from bringing them into the OFN. Great, and how the hell are we supposed to do that? We are already stretched super thin. We have 2 global conflicts running at the same time. Now we're gonna get a third one? Awesome. Just amazing. Oh, these were doing good in a way over here. So what's gonna happen? Our power is gonna decrease. We lose 10% of support in the House of Peers, and we lose 10% of public approval. Jesus Christ. The game is determined to fail our next government. I could use the public to increase my power, but it won't really help much. And we lost the military austerity. Okay, can I get it again? Could I have announced this constitutional reform? Okay, Permesta military council needs to die, which is what we're working at right now. So constitutional reform. It seems that Kazakhstan's new direction is now clear. Despite prior claims to the contrary, First Secretary Kunaev has announced that the party will be deliberating on possible changes to the constitution. The move is unprecedented, as constitutional reforms typically only come as a response to the changes in the greater USSR. The announcement comes as a major victory for Zhumbek Tashenev and his faction, who now have increasingly managed the government over the last 2 years. Yet Russian communities are already refusing to participate in a changing constitution, citing Soviet precedent. Kunaev himself has been uncharacteristically tight-lipped on the matter, seemingly unwilling or unable to more directly place his thumb upon the scale. Interesting. The American swan song. The United States and their lapdogs in the OFN have made several overtures towards the Italians to woo them into their alliance, including offers of technology and favorable access to key resources. We need to take more actions to bring Rome to our side, or at the very least prevent those dastardly Americans from bringing them into their sphere. Where's the ambassador? Oh, that's gonna be fun. So we get more production units. It's great to see the economy picking up again. Yeah, we need to take this one, even though if we don't want to, we have to. But we'll wait. I want the House of Cards to be dealt a new hand, and then we can do something. Because, you know, doing this now means just more trouble. Okay, so we're gonna take this area. You are independent, right? No. Backed by the old Zaibatsu. So you guys are all together, okay. So this is not a major area for you, but we'll move back after we take this area and attack and dispose of these guys. The old families. And backed by the old Zaibatsu. Okay, so we gained a little bit of political power. We have exiled divisions. What? Ah, okay, so they've taken parts of the areas. Well, we'll investigate next time. For now, thank you very much for joining me. It was fun. At least we have something to do down there. And we're going to continue with the campaign in the next episode. So, till then, you guys take care.